why your brain feels like a messy room. Welcome to my channel, Habit Compass. We've all been there, right? You're sitting at your desk, or maybe you're just laying in bed trying to get to sleep, and your head just feels, well, crowded. It's chaotic. It feels exactly like a messy room where someone has just dumped clothes, books, and random boxes all over the floor, and you can barely walk from one side to the other. If you're constantly carrying around this overwhelming, disorganized clutter in your mind, let me tell you, you're definitely not alone. And honestly, it's exhausting, isn't it? So in this video, we're going to unpack exactly why this happens, and more importantly, how we can fix it using a few super simple visual concepts. All right, let's dive right into this with a quote that is frankly a total game changer. Your brain is for having ideas, not for holding them. I really want you to let that sink in for a second. Think about it. We walk around all day treating our minds like a giant storage unit. We're constantly trying to cram in grocery lists, project deadlines, emails we got to reply to, and, just random shower thoughts. But here's the thing. Our brains were fundamentally not designed to be filing cabinets. They're designed to be factories. They are these incredible engines for creativity, problem solving, and processing. So when you treat your brain like a storage unit, you're literally misusing your own mental hardware. Section 1, the messy room mind. Carrying the chaos. So what exactly happens when we misuse that hardware? Well, you aren't just dealing with a little bit of forgetfulness, you're actively carrying chaos with you wherever you go. Every unreturned text, every pending bill, every vague idea for a new project, they don't just sit quietly in the back of your mind. Oh no, they bounce around and absolutely demand your attention. Imagine, if you will, a simple stick figure. Now, instead of a normal clear circle for a head, this figure's head is just completely stuffed with tiny, chaotic, dark scribbles. Every single scribble is a thought you're desperately trying to hold on to. Now, imagine those scribbles have actual physical weight to them. What happens to our stick figure? Well, their head becomes incredibly heavy. In fact, it gets so heavy that they can't even stand up straight anymore. They are literally walking crooked, completely bent over by the sheer mass of their own disorganized thoughts. It's a brilliant way to look at what mental clutter actually does to us. It's this massive, heavy burden that throws us completely off balance in our everyday lives. Section 2, the diagnosis, the Zeigarnik Effect. Now, you might be wondering, why on earth do we do this to ourselves? Well, it's actually a scientific reality. The root of the problem is something called the Zeigarnik Effect. This is the psychological tendency to remember uncompleted or interrupted tasks way better than completed ones. Your brain is quite literally hardwired to torture you with unfinished business. Think about it. Once you finish a task, your brain basically hits the delete button on that mental sticky note. But if a task is uncompleted, if it's just hanging out there in limbo, your brain keeps it active. It's constantly pinging you. Hey, don't forget the milk. Hey, you still need to reply to Sarah. It is this endless, exhausting loop of open tabs in your mental browser, and it's the exact reason why your head is full of those heavy, chaotic scribbles. And here is the direct, real-world result of that Zeigarnik Effect. Uncompleted tasks equal high cognitive load and anxiety. When your brain is constantly refreshing all those open, unfinished tasks, your cognitive load absolutely skyrockets. Your mental RAM is completely maxed out. And how does that actually feel in your body? Well, it feels like anxiety. It feels like stress. Remember that crooked, heavy walk of our stick figure? That is the physical manifestation of high cognitive load. Your brain is just working overtime trying to make sure you don't drop any of those spinning plates. Section 3, the release, building an external brain. Fortunately for all of us, there is a release valve. We need to take those heavy scribbles out of our internal hardware and place them somewhere else entirely. And building this external brain takes just 3 super simple steps. Step 1, take a pen, literally just a single line of ink and a piece of paper, a simple rectangle. Step 2, move the chaos. You physically take those dark, heavy scribbles from inside the stick figure's head and you transfer them right onto that paper rectangle. This is what we call a brain dump. You just write down every single thing that is pinging your attention, no matter how small. And finally, step 3, clear the head. Because you have externalized all that data, the Zeigarnik Effect is completely neutralized. Your brain sees that the task is captured safely on the paper, and it finally stops pinging you. The scribbles are gone. The contrast here is just striking. On one side, we have the crooked, heavy mind. And let's be real, this is the default state for so many of us, trying to hold every single idea, every task, and every worry internally. It's totally exhausting, it creates a massive cognitive load, and it leaves you bent over under all that weight. But on the other side, we have the clear, empty mind. By utilizing an external brain, by simply putting pen to paper, you remove the burden entirely. You aren't losing your ideas, you're just storing them where they actually belong. And the sense of relief, it is instant. As a direct result of doing this brain dump practice, our stick figure's head is now completely empty and clear. The heavy weight of all those chaotic scribbles is resting safely over on the paper. And because that invisible weight is lifted, what happens? Our stick figure can finally stand up straight again. They regain their balance, their posture, and their momentum. They can just walk right off the screen, moving forward into their day without all that anxiety because they finally have the mental clarity to actually execute on their ideas instead of just struggling to remember them. So I want to leave you with a provocative question to really think about today. If your brain is strictly for having ideas and not for holding them, what brilliant, world-changing, or just wonderfully creative ideas are you currently blocking because you're keeping your mind cluttered with a messy room of unfinished to-do lists? By clearing that cognitive load, you are literally making space for brilliance. If you learned something new, subscribe to the channel for building better habits through navigating Compass, and share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear from you.